Welcome into the NBA Tip-Off Show on WagerTalk TV. I'm Megan Payton. The Los Angeles Lakers and Mr. Lonnie Walker get it done against the Warriors. Lakers now up 3-1. Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler get the win at home, beating the Knicks. Miami now up 3-1. We got game fives tonight, 2 games on the slate, and no better to break it down with us than Rob Vino, Tony Finn, and Skee Profit here. A game out east, a game out west, game fives for both series tied at 2-2. We're going to go through both games. We're also going to get some best bets on our show today. First, boys, we got to go around and hear how you guys are doing. Skee Profit, how's the week been, and what do you have going on at WagerTalk?
Well, it's new start to the week, kind of. It's Tuesday, but everything's been going well for me. NBA especially. I know that's 46, 47 days, something like that. I picked up over 150 units in the NBA. So playoffs treating me well. I have a top play up for tonight. I have a top play up for tomorrow, and we'll try to keep that going.
Great stuff. Tony Finn, good to see you as always. What's going on with you this week?
And right back at you. Good to hear your voice and virtually hear your voice and see you. What's going on? It's okay. 9-3 NBA last through late last week through Sunday. Didn't have anything yesterday. I had the Lakers in a small parlay, but nothing client, no clients plays. 9-3 plus 2050 as far as net profit goes, and looking forward tonight. I like the card tonight.
It's going to be good ones out there. One East, one West. Rob Vino, how's it going with you? What do you have at WagerTalk?
It's going good, Megan. Up and available right now. Big night tonight for me. I have 6 plays up, including player props, game bets. So we have 6 up and available, 2 best bets, wagertalk.com right now. Something early, something late. Looks to be a profitable night here, Megan. So we'll talk these things out and hopefully get our viewers some extra cash here.
We start with our first game out at TD Garden, Sixers versus Celtics in Boston. Tip-off 7:30 Eastern. Celtics laying 7.5, total at 213. James Harden's been the X factor. I got to take back everything that I said leading into this series about his postseason performances in the past. James Harden's been on top of it with the game-winning overtime three-pointer in Game 4. James Harden put up 42 points in Game 4. Now the Celtics look to bounce back. The sportsbooks believe they're going to bounce back. So, Tony, how can Boston defend James Harden and stop him from putting up 40 points like he did in Game 4?
Well, they haven't done a good job defending anyone, for that matter, at least in the postseason. I think they're the number one. They're the number one net offensive team and the worst defensive team since Game 2. I should say since Game 2 with Atlanta, they just haven't. They're giving up, I think, 119 points per 100 possessions, and it's shown. It's shown. The one constant for Boston and the way they're going to win this game tonight and move on to the finals is going to be the finals. Basically, to move on to the finals would be to outscore the 76ers. Now, can they do that? Yes, they can. They can outscore. I just don't think that they need to focus on bracketing Embiid or Harden for that matter. Definitely not Maxey. And those are the three. The three amigos. And if you're going to beat the Sixers, either one or two of those guys are going to have a less than night. I just don't think the focus should be there. The focus should be on what they do best. What they do best is scoring the basketball. And I like their 110. I think it's 110 and a half or 110 team total for Boston. I trust them to score. I don't trust them to defend. So that's how I approach this game.
The Celtics are the deeper team, Tony. You look at players that can step up and have big moments. Derek White, Marcus Smart. There's more options for them, not even to talk about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who you can expect to have at least 20 points. So, Skee, how can Boston utilize their depth in order to take an advantage spot over the Sixers?
Well, a couple of things to talk about in this game. For one, we know the role players play better at home, especially in the playoffs. So I do think everybody surrounding the stars, Tatum and Brown, are going to do well in this game. And I want to touch on what you said first, Megan, just because I don't think you have to give up on it just yet. I mean, we've seen this time and time again. Harden plays well, through the first 4 games of a series. Then comes games 5 through 7, and so here in Game 5 versus Celtics team, who's probably a little bit embarrassed with how they came out in that last game and pissed off that the series is tied up. I mean, even as bad as I felt that they played in that last game, it still came down to the wire and they had a chance to win. So coming back home now, um, just combining that and like I said with the role players and the distrust of James Harden and Embiid, I just don't have a lot of confidence to him because he's not healthy. So all of those things land me on the Celtics. The 2 games that they've won in this series were by a pretty big margin. I think they win by margin again here tonight. As far as the total, um, this was one of my losses that I have had recently. Last game I played under 214. It went to overtime, went over that number. It's just like I absolutely trust that the Celtics defense can stop the Sixers, especially with them being at home. I just don't have a whole lot of confidence that the Sixers can return and stop the Celtics on the other side. So if I'm playing any kind of an under, I would look more specifically towards the Sixers team total under. And those are the ways I'd probably choose to play the game. Boston on the side, Sixers team total under. And I'll leave the props for everybody else to decide.
I like Boston to win here. However, it's very tempting to take the Sixers money line at plus 245. Rob, you think about the Sixers and what they can do and how they've been able to improve with James Harden. You expect Joel Embiid to start performing a bit better. Is there any way to convince me that I'm not crazy if I want to take Sixers plus 245 money line?
Well, I wouldn't call you crazy, Megan. I might not do the same thing, but I wouldn't call you crazy. They've won here, right? They've won here in Boston without Joel Embiid. So certainly the capability is there of Philadelphia. But where James Harden is concerned, honestly, you never know what you're going to get out of this guy. At 1-4, games 1-4 look entirely different than 2-3 when folks here in the Philadelphia area were having flashbacks of Ben Simmons drive right to the rim, nobody there, and then turn around and chuck it out of bounds or throw it to somebody. He was very timid, wouldn't shoot, went 6 of 28 from the field, 2 of 13 from 3. So you've had 2 exceptional games when he's aggressive and 2 miserable games when he's not. I happen to believe that at the end of game 3, about a minute, 2 minutes left in that one, when Joel Embiid actually went up to Harden and basically told him, if you have it, shoot it. And he scored a couple of driving layups towards the end of that game, which they lost. And then the following game, the most recent one, he was like a house of fire as far as offense is concerned. So you got to for me to get inside James Harden's head, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to get. What I know I'm going to get from Boston is points. Tony hit on it. I'm 100% with Tony Finn on the fact that Boston should get over 110.5 tonight. They've played 10 playoff games. They've gotten over this number all 10 times. So why stand in front of that train? Why not just ride it? Megan, you were hitting on some of the side, some of the complementary pieces for Boston, right? And God, that sounded horrible, Megan. I didn't mean to come out that way. You were mentioning a few of the complementary pieces to Boston. I think the biggest one of all right now is Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon has, in 3 games in this series, gone over his PRA, or excuse me, in 4 games in the series, gone over his PRA each and every time. The odds makers haven't raised it that much. They raised it from 20.5 to 21.5. He's getting minutes and he's getting shot attempts. In 4 games, he's had 56 field goal attempts. That's 3rd behind Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So you really have your 3rd offensive option that odds makers are treating as a bench player here tonight, over 21.5 PRA. If you're playing props, I think that might be a good way to go.
There's a lot of fun ways here. I'm even eyeing a same game parlay I'm looking at right now on FanDuel Sportsbook. You can take Celtics to win, Tatum 25 or more points, Brown 25 or more points, and White 2 or more made threes. Lots of fun ways to get into on the action for Celtics Sixers. We switch guys out west, going back to Denver. Going back to the altitude, the elevation, Suns Nuggets tip off at 10 Eastern. Denver -6, total 227.5. Game 5 here, series tied 2-2. This star-studded series has not disappointed. KD and Devin Booker both posted 36 points each in Game 4. Jokic had 53 points in Game 4, yet Denver still managed to lose. Rob, I'll go right back to you. What do you expect to happen in Game 5, where the home team is still undefeated in this series?
I like that theory, Megan, the home team in this series. For Phoenix, it basically is a 2-on-5 show. When you go through the box scores of the two games that they won, Durant and Booker are playing absolutely out of their minds. That's nothing new to the people who have watched these games. But I just don't know that they can continue that on the road. Meanwhile, as they're scoring, and Devin Booker, I think, is breaking records at this point in time for playoff performance. While all that's going on, Denver is still scoring. Nikola Jokic is still dominating every single game. Phoenix has no answer. So I think the home floor means a ton in this series. Home floor might have carried Phoenix through 3 and 4. Certainly, Denver was the dominant force in 1 and 2. I think they'll be that again. The game 2 was probably the outlier in this series. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I think it was like 97-87, low scoring game. I probably won't see another low scoring game in this series unless the shooting is just horrific, because neither team really has good answers for what the other team does offensively. But Denver just has way more options offensively. And they do have Aaron Gordon, who for portions of this series and probably better than 50% of this series has been a thorn in Kevin Durant's side. There was one game, I think game 3, where Durant scored a lot of points, but did a bunch of that damage from the free throw line, not necessarily from the field. His field goal percentage up until about the middle of game 3 was pretty bad. So Aaron Gordon defensively is a big weapon for Denver here. And I think the offense takes care of itself. They've, pushed this one up pretty good from 4 all the way to 6.5. I think as we've been talking here, we've seen 6.5s arise. So certainly the money's on Denver. I can't disagree with it. I think they probably get there. And I think at this point in time, if you want to go ahead and play Denver series price now that it's been adjusted again, I think Denver probably wins this series, because I don't think a road team is going to win in this series.
The trends point towards Denver. Every game this series, the outright winner has covered the spread. Denver, the best home team regular season. Denver also the best home cover team. Tony Finn, Nuggets seem like the move here. Where are you looking?
Well, I would say this, and that is that you mentioned it. You kind of opened up this segment with a 2-on-5, a Durant Booker dynamic duo, essentially, ultimately, and in the end, in games end, beating Denver and their cast of characters. The first 2 games, first off, it's a different animal. Really, you could almost see it in game 2 when they lost in a low-scoring game in Denver at altitude. Both teams scoring under 100, if I'm not mistaken. That after the game, Booker kind of had this. You could see it in the post-game presser, that he was disappointed. He's not a guy that gets really too high or too low. He'll shake his head and clap his hands and smile a little bit every once in a while after a meaningful shot or maybe a special shot. But he's Phoenix. If they win tonight, it'll be because Booker continues to do what he's done. Durant scored his points, but he's done by volume, meaning he hasn't shot that well. In fact, he's struggled in mid-range without being unguarded, uncontested for the most part. It's kind of a mystery. It's not just been one game; it's been really all 4 games, especially the last 2 at home. Phoenix won, despite the fact that it's been basically all Booker and no help other than, again, Durant in volume. Shamet certainly helped in game 4. He wasn't very good in the first half, but in the second half, he had some big shots that kind of lifted Phoenix to some runs or to stop some Denver semi rampages to overtake the Suns. But I'm one of those. This is the best of 3 now, and if you're one of those that really like games 5, I think you're going to see the best of Phoenix. I don't buy into the altitude stuff. in a game like this in postseason. I don't buy in the altitude stuff that this Phoenix team is going to be fatigued in the final quarter because Durant and Booker are both average. Well, they average about 42, 43 minutes a game. It seemed like in the last two. That's just not going to happen. Denver, first off, if Denver plays the way they want to play, they're the 7th slowest team in the NBA this year. So they're going to slow it down, if anything. And that doesn't fit to all the the major media, or at least the portals, the talking heads about Phoenix being a minus net team in the fourth quarter because of the altitude, because of the fatigue, because of their bench. I'll take Phoenix in the points here.
Hey, maybe Denver wants to slow things down. Maybe that's a move towards the under. Denver's been very clutch in fourth quarters, and that can be a lot credit to Jokic, who is averaging the most points on the team, rebounds and assists. Skee, he's been almost a lock with a triple double, at least a double double. That's going to be a move that I'm backing in this game 5. What are you looking at for game 5 out in Denver?
Well, I think that the Suns did figure out a little bit of something. Like coming into the series, I wasn't having a whole lot of confidence in, the whole Devin Booker and KD versus everybody. But they started to, just put both of them at the top. And whenever the other team doubles, kind of swing it around and trust the open man. Last game, it was Shamit who saved the day. And so I like to see them do that. But I just think to see Phoenix go on the road, you're not going to see those road players be as good. And Denver, they don't even have a winning record on the road all year. So to see them competitive and, right in those games, it gives me a lot of confidence that they can come back home and win this game by margin. This is, I think, the second, if not the best home team in the league so far this year. So I like that. And I just trust everybody, like 1 through 5. If you look at all the games, everybody's in double figures every single night, whereas you got to depend heavily on 2 guys on the other side. So just a combination of those things. I'll trust that over the course of 48 minutes. And we'll back Denver on the side. As far as the total, it makes me a little bit nervous just because, I agree with everything Rob said as far as the way that these teams play and how we've seen from them lately. It's a lot of high-scoring games. I wouldn't want to be betting that it's going to be an under. But listening to Mike Malone talk in the interview, all he's mentioning is defense, defense, defense. So if they make some kind of adjustments, maybe they can hold the down in this one. But I still get their fair share of points. So if I had to play the total, I would be either going Nuggets, Suns first half over 111. And if I wanted to fade the Suns as far as the total is concerned, I'll go the team total under. Or if I was looking at an under game, I would go Suns total under. So that's what I think.
Lots of ways to bet on this one. Reminder, the home team is undefeated. Will that change tonight out in Denver for game 5? Tip off at 10 Eastern. It's time to talk best bets, guys. Rules are simple here if you're new to the NBA tip-off show. The panel gets 60 seconds. They can do whatever they'd like with it, but they got to get out in time, and they must give us a best bet. Skee Prophet, we're coming right back to you. Show us how it's done. Your 60 seconds starts now.
Yeah, I'm not even going to use the entire 60 seconds. I don't usually do a whole lot of promoting, but I'll just do that right now just because I'm really hot. 79.1% my last 67, top 3% or better in the NBA. So I'll tout that a little bit. And for my best bet for the show, I'll go with the Boston Celtics minus the 7 or 7.5 points over the 76ers. I apologize if you hear my background too. Rob knows how the Gardeners get. They started as soon as But I just think that the Celtics are the much better team. I think that they're embarrassed from that last performance. And I think that, you're going to get a disappearing James Harden. So put all those things together. I think you get more of a result like you saw in games 2 and 3. The Celtics win this one by margin. So for my best bet for the show, I'll go Celtics minus 7 or 7.5, whatever the best number you can give me.
With 5 seconds left, Skee Prophet, that's how it's done. Boston with the points minus 7.5. Rob Vino, you're up. Best bets starts now. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm going to go to a player prop, Megan, in the late game. And I'm sure, I do this an awful lot when I think that players, and again, I'm not in on practice sessions. I'm not best friends with Jamal Murray. But I think they get a little sick of Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant the last few days. Everybody going haywire over these guys. Jamal Murray's back home. Tonight I played his point total over 25.5. 3 games in this series. He's had 32, 34, and 28, and you don't hear him mentioned at all nationally as far as this series is concerned. Again, I think back home, you feel like you need to make a statement for yourself. Jamal Murray shows me he's back the way he's shooting the ball so often and the shots that he's making. In fact, in game one, I think Monty Williams said, listen, the guy's just making incredible shots. I see that happening here tonight. 25.5 looks to be a little bit too low. So give me Jamal Murray points scored over 25.5 tonight against Phoenix.
I like that. Jamal Murray with 28 points in game 4. Let's see if he can do that again for game 5. Tony Finn, you're back. We can see you. Welcome. You have 60 seconds. We're excited to hear your best bets. Let's go. Start us off.
We're going to go. Yeah, let's go to we'll go to game 1 of the doubleheader tonight. Philly at Boston, and we're going to go to player prop as well, like Sir Rob. And this, I think there's a plethora of good props. If you believe the way I believe, and when I was doing quality, go and look at quality shots for these two teams and players and shot selections and the average shots, et cetera, with certain lineups. Without Embiid on the floor, Maxey is a centerpiece, one of the two centerpieces in the office. When Embiid's on the floor, everything in this offense goes through Embiid. It's just, in fact, almost 30% of the time, he's dribbling the ball down the court, which speaks to what he is to this team and the offense. Maxey scored 26 on 24 shots game 1, no Embiid. He slashed 26, 1 and 2, 36 minutes. The 3 games after Embiid active, 13 points on 14 shots, 13 points on 16 shots, 14 points on 17 shots, and none of the slashes, 13-3-3, 13-6-2, 14-1 and 2, none of them equated to what they're asking. DraftKings is asking as far as PRA goes. But I'm going to step down a little bit. We're going to go just points and assists. The number is 21.5. I like the under. You're going to lay a little juice on that, minus 120. Under on points and assists for Maxey tonight, under 21.5. Book it.
Tony Finn, because I'm nicer than Ranieri with the picture, I let you go on. We got great bets in from our panel. Best bets recap here. I'm taking James Harden over 7.5 assists as my best bet tonight. I believe you can get that at plus money on some books. All right, take a screenshot if you want of our best bets recap from our panel. Ski Prophet, Tony Finn, Rob Vino, here to get you guys some money. We appreciate you guys joining us here on the NBA Tip-Off Show. Enjoy the 2 games tonight. We'll be back to talk some more Game 5 action later in the week. Appreciate you guys all joining. Catch you here next time.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.